frat boy douche with an earring who wants all the time, energy, attention, and resources. He's the hit. He's got an earring, and he's got that frat boy douchey college vibe that you all love so much at the sports bars. He wears his hat backwards and makes little quips, so he's cool to hang out with.
Welcome back to Flow State. I just got done with a live stream a second ago, and I forgot all about this entirely. It was brought up in the last live stream, and so when I was closing things down, I stumbled across the tab, and this is too interesting to me to not address quickly. So in this video, I'm going to review an interaction with on Abe Dinkus's panel from a night ago. And I'll drop the link in the description box. We're going to be reviewing that, specifically Martae. Many of my regular viewers recognize Martae from debates I've done, mostly over at Sarah the Raging Tomatoes, but not exclusively. And Martae is part of the Crucible crew, which is Andrew Wilson's The Crucible, that community. So this is interesting. I learned some things about him, and for context that might be relevant to because I haven't seen anything but like the first 2 minutes maybe of this interaction. Relevant context to my perspective is probably going to be that I do have a criminal record for drug distribution. Basically, I've got a conviction for distribution from about 2017. So I have been involved in the defendant side of the war on drugs. I am very opposed to the war on drugs. I think that it's a war on people, and it's an institution and a practice that causes vastly more harm than it does good. I think that we should legalize all drugs, all of them, and treat them all the same way we treat alcohol. But that's a different discussion for a different day. Anyways, I just want to give you, the audience, there's just a bit about who I am, where I come from, and what my perspective is on the war on drugs. So let's get into this.
Linked, and it's like the world they've built is crazy, and
this Martae,
it just reminds me of like Neuralink and all of the stuff going on right now. There's their songs and stuff are like a warning against like becoming too intertwined with that, but it's pretty good music though. Welcome, Martae.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Not too much. How about you?
It's been a rough week. I had to take an absence off of social media for a bit. Some drastic things have happened. I deleted my Twitter account.
Whoa.
What? Well, a sanity break is good.
What the hell happened?
So
Too many haters?
I work for an agency that's attached to the federal government. Anyways, the district person who worked for DEA that
for what?
That's attached to the federal government. Anyways, the district person who worked for DEA that is lesbian.
Well, that's news. Martae apparently was a DEA officer. Interesting. I consider DEA officers to be largely unknowingly, right? I think that most of them think they're doing the right thing, but I view that job, that industry, to be one of the most destructive, immoral jobs that you can have. Anyways, again, this is Soapbox. Let me not distract from this interesting revelation. Martae was a DEA agent. Who knew?
And she doesn't like any of my content. Every time I do a debate against the issues, I get written up. So I get put on a final notice. And next thing you know, I'm in the office because I'm on a final. Some BS happens. And the thing that I get terminated for, which was a few days.
Oh, you've been terminated. Bro, it's too late to delete your Twitter. if you've been written up and written up and written up, and then you wait until you're terminated to delete your Twitter, just leave it up. The write-ups were the warnings.
You got fired?
Yeah, I was terminated. So it was because my radio was off, which my vest sometimes turns my radio down. That's why it was down. And
They just wanted to get rid of you. Like, let's be real. Everybody knows when you get terminated for a bullshit reason. The last job I got fired from, they said it was for attendance issues. And when I asked what days I had unexcused absences for, my boss said, well, none. Right? I had perfect attendance. They were firing me for attendance. Obviously, that wasn't the issue. They just need to fill out a reason when you get fired. They're firing you for the obvious reason. You just, I'll let him talk. Getting ahead of myself again.
I'm like, nobody gets, my partner got, had this happen 2 times last week. This happens all the time, but it's because they stacked so much paperwork that they were able to build a file on me to get me terminated through human resources and everything. So she let it slip during one of the conversations. We had to talk, and she was like, well, are you sure you weren't live streaming during work? Because all your hatred towards the LGBT community. I said, what? Do you see my content? She was like, anyways, I'm not talking about that. And I was like, oh shit.
Damn, that's cold, dude.
And it let me know that she hated my content, watched this. And there were complaints about the content that I did at work about my railing against the LGBTQ community, the single mom epidemic, all this other stuff. And she's like literally boiling mad. I'm hearing this through the chain of command. So I get pulled into the office on Sunday when administration's not even there. And they ask for my badge, my duty belt, everything else, my vest, and all that. So terminated.
Wow, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. That's
Bro, I'm not. First of all, Martae. I don't dislike Martae either. Now that you're free from your satanic employment, maybe you can do something useful with your life, right? Getting fired is one of the best things that ever happened to me. I'm much happier as a content creator than I was ever as a professional banker. That said, bro, if you're a DEA agent and you are making public personal attacks, and I don't know how, I can't say how hostile or reasonable they were, but your job as law enforcement, you are given authority over people, over other citizens. If you are overtly prejudiced against classes, LGBTQ, single moms, you're being given, your job is giving you authority over people who you've publicly stated that you're prejudiced against. That is a recipe for disaster. First of all, it's irresponsible to do that, because whether or not you like gay marriage or single moms doesn't matter. They are citizens, they have rights, and it is the government's job, duty, responsibility to ensure that their rights are not violated by law enforcement officers that they employ. Not only that, but your job as a DEA agent, pursuing criminals and then taking them to justice, your entire effectiveness could now be jeopardized. Is a perfectly viable legal defense, as far as I'm aware. I'm not a lawyer, but somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. If you have an overtly bigoted cop arresting somebody who identifies as one of the groups that he is a bigot against, that person, as a defendant in court, can call into question all sorts of things about the character, the motives. It just raises all sorts of questions into why that defendant is there and this cop put them there. You are literally undermining your job as a DEA agent to prosecute the people that you arrest. Absolutely should have been fired. Absolutely. Both for ethical and just functional reasons. I can't believe they gave you more than one write-up. You're not qualified. You are not qualified to have, and again, I don't mean this to be personal. I have no ill will towards Martae, but a bigoted cop against a group of citizens, if you have that prejudice, but they also have equal rights, which they do, your liability to your department, your liability to the court case you're trying to build, and your liability to the citizens that you're being entrusted with authority over. You're not qualified for the job. And the fact that you don't seem to be able to grasp that reality and feel like you're the victim of your lesbian boss, it's wild. That's a complete lack of self-awareness. Let's see what else you got to say.
Freaking ridiculous.
Can you go after them for unlawful termination?
No, because they were able to
media.
stack so much as far as like the petty stuff for so long that they were able to build a case to why they could just say, I'm an inconvenience.
You still can go at it from the aspect of bias, that it's like because they have this prejudicial view of you, that's why they did what they did to you and they don't do that to other people. And if you can prove that, then you can do something about it.
I don't know.
Their prejudice is against his prejudice.
How it is now, but back when
I get you. I was just asking because
it's a lot.
Yeah,
so.
I get you.
But when I was in the service, we weren't allowed to be on social media. But I guess
that's another thing too. Is that
I would never be doing what I'm doing on YouTube if I still had a boss I had to worry about, or a career, or a probation officer, any of these authorities to be beholden to and look good in front of them. The fact of the matter is, I do what I do because I found myself in a position, and I'm grateful for it in the long run, but I found myself in a position where I'm actually beholden to nobody. There's nobody you can call and go, Taylor was a douchebag on the internet. You've got to see his latest post and have any recourse in my life. You can't. But if you don't have that situation, which most people don't, then being out here, being on YouTube, being on Twitter, not only getting in these contentious, heated blood sports debates, but doing it from such a controversial, seems too light of a word, an antagonistic, divisive position to identify yourself as anti-LGBTQ and anti-single moms, like just straight out to get this reckless. It's so reckless and almost entitled. It just lacks self-awareness, bro. I don't mean this to be a dick, but Martae, you're not demonstrating the self-awareness and self-restraint and understanding of what you're being entrusted with and what you're being tasked with. You're just not demonstrating the understanding that I would want from somebody who's being given that much power and authority over other citizens.
Well, I never put who I work for or whatever, but they don't care about that. It's because I'm representing whatever I'll say. And if somebody finds out about this, they can blend the two. And it's just a really big, messy deal.
Martae, keep all your receipts, bro.
They could blend the two. Exactly. That's what I was just saying. I haven't listened this far, and this is all new to me right now. They could blend the two. It absolutely could undermine everything about a case you build against somebody.
The receipts.
Oh, they kept more receipts than I ever.
Well, you keep yours.
Yes, I tried to. So I'm going through school right now. I'm doing a trade school thing right now. I'm just going to finish that. It's only 13 months. And once I'm done, I have like an $11,000 a month contract waiting for me. So I don't care.
Well, if you're wanting to continue in the political sphere, I mean, they're being fired for your beliefs. And
what trade school do you have to go to for 13 months and then you immediately come out with 11? What's $11,000 a month? It's late. I'm retarded. Don't judge me. I'm doing calculator math. $132,000. Okay, $132,000 a year. Never mind. That's, I don't know. Sounds like a pretty good deal.
The bias in the system and using that as a leverage point. Like there is some like inherent like good in that for you if you wanted to pursue it.
There's inherent power in that too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wanted to leverage being fired.
grade school thing right now. I'm just gonna finish that. It's only 13 months, and once I'm done, I have like an $11,000 a month contract waiting for me. So I don't care.
Well, if you're wanting to continue in the political sphere, I mean, they're being fired for your beliefs and the bias in the system and using that as a leverage point. Like there is.
He is the bias in the system. He is the bias in the system. The bias is against him being biased.
There is some like inherent like good in that for you if you wanted to pursue it.
There's inherent power in that too, actually.
There is. This could be the best thing that ever happened to Martae. I hope it is. I hope that this all ends out well in the long run, even though it's never fun being fired. But this does free you up to pursue your social media. I don't know if he's got political aspirations or just debates political topics, but it frees you up in a way that you never would have been able to be freed up working for the DEA. Also, it's got to be, hopefully you'll feel good in the future when you're doing a job that people appreciate you doing instead of doing a job that literally just causes harm to people.
Actually,
Yeah, there could be good in this, but the problem with this is so Octavius, you bring up a really good point. The problem with this is that's only a fraction of what the reason why I had to delete my Twitter. The problem with this is, Abe Dinkus, you've been out of the dating market for a millennia. I'm just going to let you know this right now.
true.
But I'm just going to let you know right now, if any woman that I'm dating looks or even glances at my debates or my social media, it's like a woman repellent. Not only is this a repellent for that, it's a repellent for jobs. It's too political, first of all, the things that I do. And not to mention this, I get attacked and death threats so much. I get told to delete myself by so many different gays, especially the black community. My own community wants to delete me.
Why?
It's just insane. So it's just, I had to take a break, bro. So it's a lot.
I'd be curious. I'm curious to know why the black community specifically is antagonistic towards his positions. I didn't hear anything racial. But yeah, so I'm almost positive the last time I debated or interacted with Martae, he told me he was married. So you must have been lying, or what? You're either lying or you're looking for girlfriends while you're married, which doesn't fit with the rigid Christian standard that I know that he has.
Oh, I understand that. I would encourage you to look at it that any woman who would be reviled by that's a big like, hey, it's everything you need to know about me that we're not going to be a good fit. It's like a shit test.
If you have beliefs that are off-putting to, if you have beliefs that are off-putting to women, there's no point in hiding them because they're part of you. So if you hide these beliefs from the women that you're trying to date and build a relationship, they're building a relationship on a lie. They're not actually building a connection to you. They're building a connection to this false portrayal of somebody who doesn't have the bullshit perspectives that you do have. One of which, I'm not any sort of a feminist. I'm not Me Too, whatever. But at the risk of sounding that way, I know that his worldview is and I personally prefer traditional gender roles a lot, right? That's how I live my own life. His perspective on male-female dynamics is, I don't even think it's hyperbolic to just say straight up it's misogynistic. Force doctrine, something he's touted, which is basically the default or the perspective that men, everything that women have, men allow them to have or provide for them. And the reason all falls back on capacity for violence. Well, who would win in a fight, man or woman, right? That grounding for your understanding of relationship dynamics between men and women is, one, childish and immature. Two, rooted in violence. It's rooted in conflict with a woman, not cooperation with her. I think it's fundamentally, it's harmful. It's just not the foundation you can build a good relationship out of. So yeah, these perspectives are woman repellent, and rightfully so.
Yeah, feminism already is the biggest shit test you can think of. We're already dealing with that. And for me to push back, it's magnifying me as like a red flag, even to probably good women out there. They're probably like, no, because if we have a debate, he's always going to be right. It's like, you got
no Quran note on.
There are women though that like that they'll still try to like fight you and stuff, but they know that you're like bigger and stronger and inevitably right, but they'll still try to like, have that be an aspect that's fun. Yeah, they still like to, it's like a mountain they can't climb, but they're still going to try and do it.
Well, they'd have to choose to approach it first, and that's if they never choose to approach it,
there's going to be a mountain in itself.
Yeah.
Abe's right about that. So that's the thing. I had to take a break from that, but it's like I'm not deleting my whole social media. I just have to take a break, man. It's just nuts. A sanity break. You're right about that.
Yeah, sanity breaks are good.
Welcome, Glenn.
Good evening, everybody. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, what's up?
Gentlemen, how do you feel that it went?
Yeah, what went? Something happened?
You're talking to each other. What? Nobody died.
We had a great talk. We had a great conversation. Okay, maybe it was just one-sided. Damn.
I could have sworn I heard you say that you had a gay conversation. What? You had a good one?
Glenn just stepped in some holes right now. I don't know what he's walking into, but what's up, Glenn?
Something gay.
I'm glad you had a good conversation.
I had a great one. It was grand.
Like a piano?
Yeah.
We might have
Nice.
we might have reached the end of this. Shout out to Baybell, Jesus, and Bougie Snacks. I'm gonna scan through and see if they get back on the Martae thing.
At least it wasn't discordant. Glenn gets it. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. It was corny.
Oh, you don't appreciate good jokes.
I'll have to take note of that.
Okay, that one was a little bit better.
Is that the key to my success?
That was not. Okay, now we're going a little too far.
Okay.
Martae, you still there? I think he froze.
He might have.
It almost looks like he fell asleep standing up, the way he froze.
You know, I've done that before.
I've done that before, for sure.
Did what? Oh, I'm paying attention. What did you say?
Fallen asleep standing up before.
I have
I
to.
once had to stand outside of a doorway for 3.5 hours because some dumbass officer forgot I was there.
My bad.
I have to, but it has nothing to do with military. Let's see.
I need to get back to work.
Did you have to call your reference though?
Not call my
It's like legitimately anger, turmoil. Yeah. Wait for a month. Pray tell, what would cause that amount of drama? We had voted on what constitutes a hot dog, which sounds like a simple question. It's not.
Okay, so you grilled a hot dog. Do you also toast the bun or no?
I mean, it depends.
Hot dog.
No, it's like the ideal best hot dog. Like, would you grill it or would you not?
Samco membership, and we had to sit there for like an hour or two while they fixed my tire. And he just didn't make a peep the entire time. He literally just sat there on my lap.
We don't want Umbreon to think we wanted to barbecue.
He like rips up.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Do you mean the series that like Richard Lee Byers did? But you just never got it. Like, what was that toy?
Oh, that's super easy for me.
It's with like friends.
Man, see, that's what. Texas last year, I visited.
Well, that's crazy.
Can you survive without working?
Idiot for wanting to work.
I would rather be. I would honestly rather. I'd rather be a single mom. Idiot for wanting to work.
No, you just based.
I mean, like, can you survive?
So you're on the guard. So that means you're on the guard.
No blue state. Leave that shit there, or don't come here.
Oh, dude, I got stories. But yeah, he was watching his music.
That if you came from a blue state, leave that.
It popped up and I started watching, and I've only been
Really solving problems. It's just like,
you guys realize what he resolved?
We're gonna write a song about you now. It's gonna be called Unitarian. All right. Well, that appears to be the whole interaction. I think I've expressed all my thoughts I have on the matter. That is wild. That is wild. Yeah. Good luck, man. Like, you got to get your shit together, honestly, Martae. Like, let me not glaze this. Let me not sugarcoat this too much. Some of the shit I hear coming out of your mouth is ridiculous. And to learn that this whole time you've been saying this shit as a DEA agent while your work knows and is writing you up for the shit flying out of your mouth, bro, have a little bit more self-awareness. Adult up. Recognize that just because you feel some sort of way about lesbians or whatever, like, your feeling on the matter is not, it's not the controlling document, for lack of a better word, in an entire legal agreement, like a loan agreement or something, where you've got different components of it. The controlling document, right, is the ultimate authority, and everything else is dealing with details of like a loan structure. The controlling document of the components of your life, the power structures of your life, is not, I feel lesbians bad. Like, you are beholden to other things. You are employed by an agency that is responsible for a whole lot of power over citizens who have fucking rights. You got fired. You should have been fired. I'm amazed that you were allowed to last this long. I heard Chuck mention earlier in a different conversation that it's really hard to get fired from government jobs. I've never worked at one, but it's amazing to me that they would have allowed somebody who is overtly and outspokenly prejudiced against demographics that are protected legally, that they would give you authority to use violence against people you are public and outspoken about having a bias or prejudice against. That's crazy to me. You got fired. You deserve to have been fired. 1,000%. 1,000%. And I do hope the best for Martae. I hope that he finds a better calling, finds a better job, and is successful. And I don't think he's a bad guy, but boy, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. You fucked up. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with Martae? Do you think that I'm just some idiot feminist druggie, right? Like, what's your thoughts on this matter? I doubt it's one that very many people are just going to be like, man, I don't care. I just had a brain fart. Anyways, been a long night. And don't forget, as mentioned, this is my job. If you feel like you appreciate the content, if you're having a good month, if you're just feeling generous, if you want to help me afford more bougie snacks, super chats, super stickers, donations, there's links to donate in the comments box. Thanks again. Take it easy. Take it easy. That's a terrible sign off.